Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 76th Hunger Games.
The epic conclusion to the Hunger Games franchise is finally here, and I just got back from an early screening of the film and I'm kind of still on a high from it. Plus, they gave me all this really cool stuff, as you can see, so I'm a very happy camper. And I know I'm not the only one who has invested years in this franchise with the books and all the movies, and finally seeing it come to an end is a tad bittersweet, I will admit. So the lowdown for this film is pretty short. In Mockingjay Part 2, we pick up right where the first half ended, and we follow Katniss and her crew as they take their journey to penetrate—
Not a good enough reason to use the word penetrate.
Sorry, I mean to infiltrate the Capitol and kill President Snow. Now get ready to hear me ramble for the rest of my review. I admit I was a little disappointed in Mockingjay Part 1. I thought it was very slow and it just dragged things out in order to fill space for 2 hours so that we could have 2 movies and the franchise could make way more money. I'll say Mockingjay Part 2 also drags and is kind of slow, but I think there's enough variety of content to make it more exciting. You'll laugh, you'll be scared, you'll cry a little. Now some scenes are definitely skimmed over too quickly and feel like they're just shoved in there and rushed over, like Finnick and Annie's wedding or Prim's final scene. And there's definitely stuff that's in the book that's missing from the movies, like some things that happen after the rebels actually get into the Capitol. As far as the dialogue and the script, it's definitely nothing to write home about. Everyone I think in this movie is pretty good except Julianne Moore. Now Julianne Moore is a great actress, but in this role and in this character of President Coin, she just kind of overacts a little too much to the point where it's like, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain it. It's definitely hammy and just very over the top. Now I think Josh Hutcherson is at his best in this movie. I'm sorry, but oftentimes Peeta just really gets on my nerves. But Josh really puts in an emotional performance in this movie from the get-go. That opening scene with him is just wow. And then it goes to the opening title card and you're just still like, wow, what did I just watch? Because this movie has so many new characters introduced, you don't really get to know them or develop any real compassion for them. So if they die, it's kind of like, oh wait, which one just died? You're trying to figure it out because you can't even remember their names. But there's also those characters I definitely wanted more from, and that includes Jenna Malone. She just kicks ass, as does Natalie Dormer. Also, I wanted more Effie and more Haymitch. But there's a sweet moment near the end of the movie that kind of made up for their lack of screen time, and I just love both those characters so much. I would totally love to see a spin-off. Something I was very excited to see play out was all the pods and the action and the sewer fights and all that good stuff you got in the book, because you're trying to visualize it in your head when you're reading. And you're like, how is this going to play out? And I think it played out pretty well for what I imagined in my head. And let's just say these traps and pods, they're not your Goonies little baby booby traps. These are some super-sized steroid Acme shit that would blow Wile E. Coyote to smithereens, as well as probably King Kong. Wait till you see the Mutt scene, the Mutt attack in the sewer. Oh, I don't know if I even knew. I don't even think in my own imagination I could come up with what those Mutts looked like. So when I saw them on screen, I thought this whole part of the movie, this whole action sequence, you think you're kind of in a horror movie. You're kept on the edge of your seat and you wonder like, oh no, did I just step into like Beneath the Darkness or The Walking Dead or Hostel or something like that, because it's crazy. And these Mutts, they are like a mix of Gollum, a zombie, these cranks from the Scorch Trials, or like awkwardly enough, a newborn baby in this, because they're gross and slimy with this weird clear film, so it's like the sack, and I'm going a little too far. I'm sorry. But to sum it up, let's just say the action we got was pretty awesome, but it also left you wanting more, and some of the big scenes you got to where the climax was supposed to be, and it was a little bit of a letdown. But overall, I was pleased with this film. Catching Fire is probably still my favorite movie in the franchise. Mockingjay Part 2 was definitely a satisfying end to the saga, at least for me. Oh, and there's also one of my favorite scenes. There's a scene between Gale and Peeta that I love, also with Katniss, and it's very reminiscent of the tent scene in the Twilight Saga. So that wraps up my thoughts on Mockingjay Part 2. I want to know your thoughts, so leave them down in the comments below. Are you planning on seeing the film opening weekend? Are you going to dress up? Maybe wear your little pin like I am. If you've already seen the movie, let me know what you think. Do you agree with the points I made? Do you have a completely different opinion? Am I way off base? Just hit me up in a comment below, or follow me on Twitter and let me know. It's @Lisa_Heiser. or at Shine On Media. And if you want to check out my review of Spectre, the latest in the James Bond saga, you can click right over here, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Hey, while you're here, don't forget to click that subscribe button and check out even more reviews by clicking the boxes below. It's some fun stuff. I hope. Maybe.